I don't hate Trump. Trump is a necessary evil, especially for Africa and Africans, in particular for the African elite, bourgeoisie, and politicians that love to steal money from Africa and hide it in the Western bank account just for the West to look at them and call them nigger.
Good for your hand, boss. Good for your hand, massa.
That's all right, Toby. That's all right. You be a good field hand and you can stay here.
They steal money, public funds from Africa, and go hide in the West. And the West look at them. Thank you, nigger. And they be like, did they just call me nigger? Yes, you are. Damn motherfucker. Those African politicians and little bourgeoisie, they think they are somehow some sort of special entity that is exempt for the black experience, just because they have money, stolen money, by the way. No, you are not. You're still a nigger. A nigger with money, but still a nigger. I look good in suit though. That's a very good looking young man. So Trump is kind of reminded them what they are. So am I supposed to hate? No, I'm not saying Trump is great, like, no. But he's not as bad as we think. His behavior will force us, Africa, to start look inward instead of outward. Example, if you look on the internet and try to get informed, you will realize that the intra-trade between African countries is just 16 to 18%. This means we are only trading 16 to 80%. And this means at least 80%, 80% of our trade is with people outside, with the countries outside. This means African countries trade more with the countries outside of Africa than with the countries inside of Africa. This is terrible. Example, if we look to Europe, the intra-trade between European countries is like 60 to 70%. In Asia, it's 50%, but in Africa, it's only 15 to 18%. That's very low. With those countries moving to the right, start closing their country, like, it's kind of funny that when the first time they start having economic problem, they wanna close their country, and they've been precious to open, okay, like. But it's good that those countries are closing their country to us. They are imposing tariff on each other and on us. This will force us to stop trade with each other. And this was supposed to happen long time ago. I actually made a video, I think in 2021, about the African Continental Free Trade Area. It was supposed to be in place right now. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Because we have a lot of lazy people in power, a lot of lazy imbecile in power. And those African politicians, let's be real, they are idiots. They are idiots. A lot of our politicians think that they are a lot of our politicians in Africa think that they are some sort of a special entity that are exempt for the black experience. Like, no, you're just a nigger with money. Even worse, you're just a nigger with stolen money. Like, 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 think a little bit. You steal your people money to put in their bank account. They still call you a nigger. Let me give you an example. In my country, we have a lot of idiot politicians. And one of those idiot politicians was in one conference complaining about Portugal. Portugal is very ungrateful. When Portugal was down bad, when the economy was bad, we invest in Portugal. We recover a lot of Portuguese company. Without us, Portugal will not survive. We open our country to Portuguese citizens to get job because the economy was bad. I'm like, why did you do that? Why? Because in the 2000 to 2010, our country, Angola, was full of Portuguese. Our leaders, our leaders, our elite, the Angola elite, prefer to give job to Portuguese than to Angola. In a lot of leadership role they gave to Portuguese than Angola. And that was something that everybody said. They used to call Portuguese pula. Pula means job. Because they show up here and very fast they're up. So they prefer the Portuguese over the citizen. And now that the Angola is messed up, the Portuguese, they close the door. They say, thanks a lot. We don't want you here. Can I blame the Portuguese? No. That's just being smart. When Angola started having economic crisis, the Portuguese closed their doors on our face. They make harder for Angola to move to Portugal. Meanwhile, Angola did the opposite for them. That's poetic. And now politicians complain. Complain for what? Oh, you are complaining that the Portuguese are discriminate you, just like you discriminate your citizens. And I agree with the Portuguese. I agree with the far-right government, the Chega, because you gotta put your people first. So you are complaining that the Portuguese are putting their people first. Are you for real? They, like, you didn't put your people first, you put the Portuguese first. Now that your country is messed up, you are complaining that the Portuguese are put their people first. African politicians are some sort of idiots. Let's be real. Very idiot. And even the Portuguese weren't even further. They start expropriate a lot of Angola property and investment because they acquired those property with the stolen capital. Like, I'm not even mad. Why should I be mad that that Portuguese are doing what they've been doing since the 1500? Like, why those politicians mad that the Portuguese are doing today what they've been doing since the 1500s, which is scam Africans and African elite. Like, and we need to talk a little bit about the African elite. We hear that how much in aid? Let me check here right now. How much aid the African got? Like, I think it's around in terms of aid in 2024, African got Africa got 42 billions in terms of aid. Like those humanitarian aid, some sort of that, some stuff like that. And they're gonna find how much money left the country. I think it's 1 trillion. Let me check. I think it's 1 trillion money left the Africa continent. My suspicion is 1 trillion. Let's wait. Yeah, it's not 1 trillion. It's 80 billion, 88 billion. So in terms of aid and help, enter 42 billions and left 88 billions. That's an investment. They invested 42 and took 8. They doubled their wealth. And a lot of the narrative that is going there is that the West is coming to Africa and steal. I don't believe that. Just like I don't believe that slavery was only done by white people and Arabs. We were sold by our own people. It's impossible to do something in Africa without the help of another African. And I'm talking this as an African myself. If you open a business in Africa, you will be constantly harassed by the police, by the government. You have to pay that, you have to pay that. They will try to shut down your business. If you try to transfer money abroad, you will have to provide a lot of documentation and then pray because sometimes they don't even send. And now you want me to believe that foreigners come to Africa, open a business easily, the same business that we have difficult to open, and are able to transfer money abroad easily. Those same transfers that we try to do to pay the fees of our family abroad. So I don't buy that. Someone is facilitating, just like they facilitate in the past during the slave trade. Just like they facilitate in the past during the slave trade. Like we have been here before. No, not we. I think that's not correct. Our ancestors have been here before, have been there before. Because before the transatlantic slave trade, there was the trans-Sahara slave trade. And I suspect that before the trans-Sahara slave trade, that's also known as the Islamic slave trade, the Arab slave trade, I suspect there was some sort of slave trade before. Because slavery only take place after a civilization collapse, and the civilization collapse when the political elite become too corrupt, and the common inequality grow and take place. That's when the civilization collapse. So we didn't learn from the collapse of our civilization. We didn't learn from the Arab slave trade or the trans-Sahara slave trade. We didn't learn from the transatlantic slave trade. And we are not learning now. Now the Chinese are coming, India coming, the Arabs are coming again, the European never left. Like, I don't think we will ever learn like this. But I like Trump. Trump will force those niggas to get real. Like you have money, but you're still black. Like, get out of here. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So Trump is not. I'm not saying Trump is great, but I'm saying Trump is reminding those elite, those bourgeoisie that were able to make life harder for us in the continent and then escape to the West to hide. Trump is reminding them that no matter how much money you have, no matter how much you stole from your people, you're still a nigga. And for me, that's beautiful. And then they go to the West, say, you know what? I have a ton of degree. I have a ton of degree. My father is the government and this state in this province. Like, no, you're still a nigga. And and a lot of those Africans have the audacity to disrespect African American. Like, get out of here. Yeah, they steal their people and they go to America. They only let me tell something. Africans are only able to go to America because African America fought for that. This event happened during the civil right. So those Africans get to America because African America fought for everybody to enter in America. Those niggas get to America and then disrespect African America and call them lazy. If you so hard work, why did you stay in your country? Your father stole the money. You have money to invest. Why are you going to America? Yeah, I love that shit. They need to start get a little bit. Life need to be difficult for the African bourgeoisie. So yeah, that's all I have to say.